Hey YouTube, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Naya Simone, and today I'm going to be giving you shows and movies, like suggestions from YouTube. Suggestions from Netflix. So it's a Netflix suggestion video. So I'm gonna just get straight into the video. The first, I'm on Netflix right now. I'm looking at some shows and movies that I already watched within this past year or this year, and I'm gonna give y'all like suggestions on. Y'all get the point. So the first show, I'm doing all shows first and then movies. So the first show is Shadow, and it's a South African show. It's a South African thriller, crime, and action TV series. So it came out in 2019, and it's about this guy who used to be a cop, and he has like an inability to feel pain, like ever since some tragedy that happened to him when he was younger. So he decided to take matters into his own hands and he take matters into his own hands, like he fights crimes basically. So also in this video, I'm not giving y'all no spoilers or nothing like that. I'm just giving y'all a gist of what the show or movie is about to put y'all onto. Because also, if you know me, you know I really like watching shows and movies. So I got a whole bunch of suggestions to put y'all onto. So yeah. Okay. So show number 2 is Blood and Water. And first it's just one season of that show. And just like with Shadow, it was one season. But Blood and Water is another South African show drama that came out this year too. And it's about this girl Puling, and she switches to a private school to figure out if this swimming star is her sister. And that sister of hers has been abducted at birth, so she's trying to figure out if that's her sister or not. So by switching over to that private school, and a whole bunch of other stuff goes on within the show, but that's just the gist of it. But y'all should check that out because that's really good too. Show number 3, I said 3. Show number 3 is Diablero. That has 2 seasons, and it's a Mexican horror, like, fiction series. It's kind of funny too, so don't, if y'all like scared of stuff like that and y'all don't like watching scary stuff, it's not scary. It's just like, it got some demons and stuff like that in it, but it's still comedy too. That's what I like about it. So Diablero has 2 seasons, and it's a Mexican fiction series that came out in 2018. It's about a priest and this demon hunter that hold on, let me see. Yeah, basically it's a priest and a demon hunter that like gets together and searches in the underground for this girl that went missing. See, that was basically a gist of the first episode in that season. But Diablero is like a series that there's like a new storyline. A different storyline in each episode. It's not like some parts is continued into the other episode, but some isn't. So next in fashion is one of my definitely one of my favorite ones. Cause Next in Fashion is a fashion show. You know I like fashion. So it's a fashion reality show that came out this year, and it's about these designers. Like in the beginning of the episode, there's I think there's 10 sets of designers or something like that. But they chose designers that's not famous, but they still worked to the point where they was able to design certain celebrities like Beyonce or Michelle Obama and stuff like that. But we don't know of their names like that. So they took designers like that, matched them together. They have to compete. It's a competition. So they compete against each other to create clothes based on whatever category the episode is focused on, based on, it's like, for example, it's like denim, swimwear, or like activewear, or it's like streetwear, stuff like that. So they have a certain category, and then they have to compete on which one does better or something like that in that category, or which one was lacking on that category. They get sent home basically. So the next, I don't even know which one. Okay, number 5. So number 5 is it's called Always a Witch. Has 2 seasons and it's a Colombian TV series that came out in 2019. A summary of that. It's about this 18-year-old girl who is a slave in the past, and she travels to the future somehow. They tell you how, but like that's, y'all can watch it and find out how. But she travels to the future, and yeah, it's like she was a slave back then who was also a witch, and back then they believed in witches, so they was gonna burn them at like they was gonna burn them. So she decided to, since she was a witch, she decided to get in contact with somebody. She basically found out how to travel to the future where nobody really believes in witches, and she is now in 2020. I think the place, like, it took place in like 1646 or something like that. So yeah, that was cool too. Number 6, I think. The show name is Glitch. That has 3 seasons in it. It came out when did it come out? I think that came out like 2019. I mean, I could check, but what I'm looking at right now too, I wrote down, like, if y'all wonder why I keep looking down back up, I wrote down a little bit, like typed it out, a little like summary or so on each category, just so I can make sure I'm not trying to give y'all like no spoilers or whatever. I basically just talking about the show or movie. So Glitch is 3 seasons, and it's an Australian drama that was on Netflix in 2019, and it's about these people who return to life after crawling out of their graves, and a police officer, like, he secretly hides them after figuring out, he hides them and try to figure out why they returned from the dead. Like, they really crawled out of the grave, and a lot of them people that crawled out of the grave was dead for years, like hundreds of years, and they trying to figure out what's the reason for them to coming back to life. A whole bunch of stuff happens to it. So I completely lost count on which show it is, but this is the last show, and it's Warrior Nun. I just finished this show like 2 days ago, and it was really good. But Warrior Nun has 1 season. I was about to say 2 seasons. It needs a 2nd season real soon though, because this show's really good. But this show just got released on Netflix. I think it was like July 10th or something of this year. So it just came out and I just finished it. It's 1 season. It's an action drama, and it's like a superhero type film that came out this year. It's about this teenager. I think she's a teenager, or she young. She look young, but it's a teenager that wake up from the dead in like some type of morgue with powers, and she gets caught in between good and evil. So she wakes up with powers, and she got like this thing in her back, like also the logo of, not the logo, the like front cover or so of Warrior Nun has this ring, and that's supposed to be like an angel's whole halo, and she got that in her back. So she wakes up from the dead with powers, and she gets stuck between demons and angels, basically, like the good side and then demons. So yeah. Now that's all for the shows. Now I have like 3 movies, because I don't really watch movies like that, but when I do watch movies, then that would be like once in a while. So the first movie that just came out like on July 10th of this year, it's called The Old Guard. The Old Guard is really good. That's I said it's a movie. It's an action fantasy that came out this year, and it's about this group of mercenaries that are like centuries old. Like, they've been alive for a long time, but they can't die. They're like enabled to die, and what they basically do is find out, like, they find out that somebody finds out, look, I don't know how to explain this. So basically, somebody finds out that they're not normal. They live for years, and that they got like these abilities, like they really good at fighting and stuff, and they stop bad people, but they've been alive all these years. So they go and basically try to put a stop to them so they can have their freedom of living longer. Second to last one is Extraction. That's a movie with Chris Hemsworth, I think his name is. Yeah. And that came out this year. It recently came out actually, because I finished watching that movie like last month, I think. It's an action and adventure movie, and it's about this. It's like, alright, Chris Hemsworth. I forgot that quick how like what his name is in the movie, but he's basically a black market like mercenary, and he sets out to rescue like the kidnapped son of like this bad person, like this crime lord. So that crime lord is like in prison, and I guess since he does bad stuff and he got caught, people who wants to get that person that's in jail, that bad person, they decide to just go out and get his son. So they kidnap him, and Chris Hemsworth's job in the movie is to go and get that son that was kidnapped, and a whole bunch of other stuff goes on within that. The last movie, finally, is Code 8. That's a sci-fi like type fantasy movie that came out in like 2019. It's like, okay, I keep saying like so much. It's this construction worker with superpowers, and he ends up with a group of criminals to get money so he can save his sick mother. So that guy, he's like a good person actually, but he has powers, and inside the show it's illegal for you to use powers. But he ends up getting caught up in a bad like group of people and try to get money. He uses his powers to get money and stuff like that, but he's doing it for a good reason, because his mother is dying and he needs the money for his mother. It's not like he's trying to do bad stuff like the rest of them. Like they gonna try to use money for drugs and all of that, and he's trying to save money up for his mom. So yeah, that is the end of the video. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you want a part 2. I never did no video like this. I'm still starting off YouTube, of course, but I used to watch videos on people give Netflix suggestions or Hulu suggestions, stuff like that. That's how I was able to find certain movies like years ago that I got into, because I heard people's opinions on them and stuff like that and what they were about. So I decided to give you guys some of my favorite shows and movies also. Well, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.